Okay, now that you've got the hang of promissory notes and working with payments in the future and dealing with them today, uh, let's turn our attention to another good application of simple interest, Treasury bills. Now, we're going to talk mostly about Treasury bills in this video, but there's also something called commercial paper. Works exactly the same way. It's just what private companies use. And so keep that in mind as you go through. Any questions dealing with Treasury bills and commercial paper? That's what this is all about. Let's have a look at Treasury bills, or T-bills. You might have heard that word before. They're essentially promissory notes issued by the government when they want to borrow money for short periods of time. They have a face value on them, and that represents the full amount, including interest. So that's already been done. So it's like our step one has already been done for us. It's what you're going to get back in the future if you buy this contract from the government. So really, T-bills are just sold at a discount, often to big banks or financial institutions. And the discount represents a desired rate of return or yield rate. Let's have a look at an example. An investor purchased a $250,000 in 364-day T-bills, but he didn't buy them right at the beginning. He only bought them 315 days before they were due. And this investor wanted to yield or make a return of 1.12%. And then the bills were sold 120 days later to yield 1.47%. How much did the investor pay for the T-bills? Well, let's start with that. So in that case, I'm just going to draw a very small timeline for this one. Here we are today, and there were really 315 days until this investor is going to collect. I know that the original T-bill said it was longer, but the purchaser bought it 315 days before it was due, so that's how long they're going to have to wait to collect their 250,000. So if we want to work out a price for that investor at this point in time, well, we can just discount this back at 1.12%, can't we, for those 315 days? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So the price that the investor paid is going to be 250,000 brought back at our rate for 315 days. And if we work that out, we get $247,606.69. So that's that unknown amount right there. That's what they would pay. So if they bought that, they're going to make almost $400, aren't they? That represents 1.12%. That's what that is. Let's keep going with it. What if the, we keep going and read the question, we get into the second part here. I just here underline in blue for you. He sold the T-bills 120 days later. Right. So how much did he sell the T-bills for? Well, let's draw a little timeline again for this one. Remember, these are $250,000 T-bills, so that's what everyone's all excited about, aren't they? If this investor sold them after 120 days, he had originally bought them 315 days before they were due. Now he's selling them 120 days later. There must only be 195 days left at this point, because 315 days minus the 120, well, that's 195. So he's waited part way, and now he's going to sell them. He sells them so that he can earn a rate, or the investor, I mean, can earn a rate of 1.47%, the new person. So what price would he pay for those? Well, we can do much the same thing. Let's work out the price here. 250,000 brought back at 0.0147 this time for 195 days. And that works out to be $248,051.94. That would be the selling price at that point. Now, you notice I didn't use a 247 anywhere in this calculation, did I? Because again, like all investments people buy, they don't really care what was paid in the past for them. They only care about what they're going to collect in the future. And so if I were the person coming along here in blue, I would say, oh, okay, now the maturity is only 195 days away, and I'll get 250,000 on that date. What would I be willing to pay for it if I want to earn 1.47? Well, that's 248,000. Let's do a final step. What rate of return did the investor realize on this investment overall? The original investor when they had it. Well, the original person was in here for 120 days. They had originally paid, now I'll go back and get that 247,000. That's what the person originally paid, wasn't it? Up here when they bought it. And they sold it later, right, for 248,000. So it looks like they made $450 somewhere in there. Let's work that out exactly. How much did he earn in interest during the time he held it? Well, that's at 248 that he sold it for, minus what he originally paid, and 69 cents. And that works out to be $445.25. So essentially, the original person was involved with this treasury bill for 120 days. They bought it for $247,606, and they made $445. Well, we can go back to what we learned at the very beginning of things last week, and we can say R is equal to I over PT. This is probably the easiest way to work this one out. And he made $445 on his original investment of $247,606.69. And he was in there for 120 days. Once I do all the calculations on that, I end up with 0.00547, which becomes 0.547%. Didn't even earn 1%, but he did earn something. Why was it such a low rate of return, by the way? Well, if we think about it, when he sold it, when I got to part 2 there, the piece in blue, the new person wanted 1.47%. The only way to get that without changing the redemption for the T-bill, the 250,000, would be to shortchange or really lower the price compared to what it would have been had we stayed at the 1.12% rate. So it kind of ate into the original person's return and dropped them all the way down to 0.547%. That's an example of a treasury bill. Let's give you a chance to try one out. An investor bought a 91-day $100,000 T-bill on its issue date at a price of $99,107. Let's see if you can calculate the yield rate as an annual percent to 2 decimal places. Go ahead and press pause. This is all you need. See if you can work this one out. When you're ready, hit play again, and I'll go through the answer with you. Let's have a look. I'll just draw a simple timeline just to sort myself out here. It's a $100,000 T-bill, purchased 91 days before it was due. And we want to work out and get the price at the very beginning. If we, get the yield rate, if we paid 99,107. So what would the rate be that made all of that work out? Well, this one's not too challenging if we think about it. Originally, the person paid 99,107 for an investment that was going to last 91 days, and they earned a total of, and we can quickly do the math here to find out, That equals $893. They earned $893 if they did this deal. So what's R going to be? Well, it's I over PT. And that's going to be $893 over 99,107. That's sometimes a mistake people make. They think, oh, I got to put the 100,000 in there. But don't forget, it's P. That's the original amount, isn't it? So it's the 99,107. And we said 91 days. Put that all together, and I get 0.03614, which now becomes a percent of 3.614%. Oh, sorry, that was the 3 decimals, wasn't it? And the question said 2, so I guess I better be careful about that. 3.61 then, wouldn't it? 3.61%, that's the final answer. I hope that worked out for you. If not, take a few minutes, practice a few more, maybe try it again, see how you do. Okay, well that does it for Treasury bills. Practice some of these as well. They're not too difficult, but again, you're going to want to practice enough so you've seen all the different versions and you're comfortable with them. And then when you're ready, you can move on to our next lesson, which is all about demand loans.